We actually had someone come from Toastmasters and grilled us on the spot how to pitch your business. It was a major learning opportunity. People came in and considered the weight of their words, their mission, vision, and how they were communicating that or not, or better ways to do that. I remember speaking with confidence. That was actually the title of that topic. We had conversations about how to access capital. And adding to that, we were able to look at our own financial situation to determine how we could bless people, how we could demonstrate resilient efforts. And we were able to do that through grant making, through our endurance fund. We got a lot of footage on that, but there were businesses who were able to remain or to scale up slightly or to pivot because we were able to give them money that was set aside what had been our yearly annual event. And Alex said, well, we have money, and we determined that we would turn the corner and figure out how to sow that into some of our community members so that they could have that opportunity. One of the other things we realized was going to be important when the PP3 wasn't coming through, we were trying to figure out how do we help our community of business owners rethink their financial narrative, look at their assets, what they have, if they need money, how to get to the bank or get to these lenders. And we did that through creating this 4-part series of creating your financial narrative, which was really awesome, and took it back to grassroots, not believing or saying anything, but everybody got re-educated on thinking through their finances, their profit loss statements. What should I have prepared to go to these bankers? Since I can't get it over here, where do I get it? What do I say? Oh, I love this one. Help, we need the ER, entrepreneurial resilience. We had our community members from CIC, City of Charlottesville, city manager in the room, Albemarle County representatives talking about grant programs that they made or were making available and how people should apply to get those. How to scale up our business, ways to maximize wealth. I don't know, and I didn't ask you all, but it sounds like you're already pivoting when I hear Lisa saying she's got to turn the corner. Loan requirements are different. Laverne talking about in spite of, I'm going to do this anyway. These were some of the topics that we thought were going to be important. And I'll go as far to say, Andrew, tell me if I'm wrong, Alex, we had a couple of sessions where we had up to 45 members of our community, local professionals in the room, steering conversation, providing their insights as to how we pivot or how we endure the very challenging times that we had. So, at a glance, our year, we profited more. We actually got new membership. We had local people, the community, giving us funds to help support that resiliency movement. And one of the larger areas, which I thought Barbara would be on to discuss today, was the partnership with United Way that brought thousands of dollars and an application process for individuals who needed and wanted to stay afloat. I don't have updates as to who those awards went to or any specific information, but they came to us and said, can we help? So having said that, year in review, it has been significant along with new membership and why we meet, because we feel like there is value added in walking with us in our group. So I wanted to report that to you. If you were wondering what we're doing, how we're doing it, or why, you understand that this is in line with the mission to convene and support and offer resilience to our Black and Brown people of color, to this community of individuals, and make certain that we are representing you well in our community discussions in terms of bringing you value. So wanted to lay that at your feet. Alex is going to go, I'm going to give it to Alex because he's going to want to also invite some additional conversation I'm going to let him share with you. And then after Alex, I do believe our chair, Quentin Harrell, wants to come toward the end and speak to you from his personal appeal. So Alex, you can go
And
forward.
Kay, after Alex, I'll give a report on leader. I'll give a further report on even what some of our members have been embarking upon.
Okay, good.
After
good.
Alex.
Okay.
Fantastic. Yes, so usually, as you remember, when we do our conversations and chats and questions, we have everyone put it in the chat box. I think we are a nice, intimate gathering today. So I think it'll probably be best we can just, work off each other and have a nice informal discussion. And really, the first thing we just wanted to know from you all really and sort of get an idea about is some of the things you might like to see next year. And I'd sort of put it into 2 buckets, and you can feel free to ignore the buckets I'm going to give you and say, I just want to throw out something out here that doesn't even fit in those 2. But what would you like to see educationally in terms of topic-wise, things we've discussed this year, ways in which we've learned new things, or relationship-wise? Would you like to see new ways of meeting, new ways of networking? Anything in those 2 buckets you can talk about, or again, you can say, Alex, I don't like your buckets. I'm gonna put one of my own out there.
Are you gonna tell us the buckets?
Those were so the educational one in terms of topics, and then the relationship-wise networking, ways of connecting with other entrepreneurs.
Definitely need to, in order to grow new business, a lot of networking and opening the doors, opportunities that open doors where businesses like ours don't always have the opportunity to get in front of certain individuals who have that greater wealth building power. Introduce you to companies on a larger level where you can more readily grow your business. For example, getting in the door with UVA.
Wow.
Bringing them to the table, having them at the conversation for entrepreneur ways of doing business with them on multiple levels.
Okay. That's good.
I like that.
I like it very much.
They're the largest employer in our area, so it should be very easy for us. And the city supports UVA on multiple levels. So this is a way in which they can give back to local companies.
I like that, Lisa, a lot.
Yep.
Especially with startup businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Noted.
Laverne, as someone who's interested in launching your own business, what do you feel you need that maybe we can assist with?
Actually, both of them would be good for me since I am new to this group, period. I have to tell you that the one thing I do is I look for opportunities like this to learn more from people who are already in business and to get ideas and to get maybe places or actually avenues that I can actually go to, someone I can talk to. I do have a mentor that I've been talking with and been sending me information. So for me, education, experience, meeting someone that has had a successful business, whether it was successful or unsuccessful, some of the pitfalls that they ran into, some of the legalities that they may have run into. See, all of that stuff is pertinent to me. And reason being, I don't think I've said what my business is, but I'm trying to start a trucking company myself. I mean, that's been a passion of mine since I was like 16 years old. And during my research, there's not a lot of women trucking company owners. There are a few. There are not many. A lot of the women are partnered with someone else. I'm not trying to partner with anybody. I want to do this venture by myself. And there's not a lot of African American women owners in the trucking business. So that within itself is something that I am excited about. So when I do decide to jump into this, I want to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row. So education and meeting and networking, all that stuff is important to me.
Mhm. For anyone just joining us, we're having an informal discussion about some of the things we'd like to see from Minority Business Alliance next year. Boomi, I sort of wanted to get your take because I know that this is the end of your first year in business, you said. So as you think about, growing next year, what might be some of the things that you feel we could help with through as MBA, or that you'd like to see from MBA to help you take the next step in next year?
I'm not sure yet, but I actually do have something to add in that I just finished that phase. But I don't know if you guys have done anything with having a speaker come to talk about SWAM certifications. I just recently, researched that and tried to go through my application. But I feel that that could be beneficial of having someone join, particularly having some Zoom FaceTime with the area's SBED contact person. I haven't reached out to her myself yet, but I think it would be valuable for the membership, particularly for those who are interested in receiving that, like understanding what the certification is, how it can benefit them, and then just the process, because there was just a lot of like moving parts trying to collect everything to submit. And so, and I'm pretty resourceful, so I can kind of tackle through that. But I think that it would be beneficial to maybe have a meeting that's dedicated to someone talking to that, and providing some FaceTime with the membership to reach out to that contact person to help walk through that. And then last fall, one of my first interactions with the chamber and with this group was I think it was a Minority Business Week that was held, and there was a networking event that had like someone who represented a law firm and like an accounting firm and that kind of thing, and they allowed us to have some FaceTime with these people and talk about any questions that we might have. And I wondered if there was a way to do that in a somewhat of a speed networking, I suppose, format on Zoom, but to allow the membership to have some of that, because that actually was really helpful for me, because that was my beginning part of being a full-time freelancer. And so it was really helpful to be able to talk with a lawyer or an accountant and ask a few preliminary questions just to make sure that I was on the right track with things that I was pursuing, and making sure all my ducks were in a row. And if there was a way to harness that virtually, and breakout rooms or whatever, but that might be something that's worth exploring as well.
Very good. Very good.
That's very good.
And given, Boomi, to your point, given that likely we'll be continuing to meet virtually in 2021, where we definitely are going to explore those opportunities, because while those are things we've done in person, just the forecast of 2021, we're just going to have to learn how to do it on Zoom so we can, enhance the offerings for our attendees for sure. So I just learned to do a poll. So yeah, baby
Good
steps.
job. Good job.
You did great, Andrea.
All about that works. Right? But so I'm almost sensing a little bit from you, Boomi, there is sort of a theme of how can we as MBA facilitate for you, the members, some of that one-on-one time? Because typically the meeting is a bunch of people gathered together. We all hear one speaker, we all hear a couple panelists, but maybe some ways that we can say, all right, how can we provide for our members an ability to have just a one-on-one with someone on the topic of their particular business?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the second idea. I think the first idea was more providing some education on this. So I was new to Virginia, so understanding the SWAM, because that was different in Texas, and so understanding SWAM and understanding that was something that was beneficial. And so then you're not really providing them the one-on-one time. You're just saying, here's some information, you're having someone talk about the information, and then here's a contact person if you need to explore that one-on-one, here's who you could do that with, but not necessarily using the meeting for that, that one-on-one space, I would think. But
thank you.
But I'll think on other topics to your specific question to me. I'll think more on that too.
No, absolutely. I mean, any other thoughts on the way we have meetings? The formats, new ways of doing things. I know we haven't done a lot of breakout rooms and smaller groups. I mean, are those things that anyone would be interested in, or have you enjoyed the formats that we've had so far of having a speaker come in and talk on a specific topic?
I definitely think I've attended. I feel like I'm in Zoom world. So many Zoom meetings and so many different techniques, and to have them and working a lot on issues surrounding diversity, inclusion, and equity. We do a lot of breakout sessions, and it allows for smaller groups and to have more intimate conversations. So that breakout groups are great if you can incorporate those. And somewhat like what Bumi was saying, that allows you to have different speakers specializing in different topics related to different businesses. And then you can rotate it. Everybody has an opportunity to drop into different breakout sessions. But I do think that with the new movement that we are in today, and as we are doing, Alex, with CIC, always having that continual lens of equity, inclusion, and diversity throughout your business conversations. Those conversations need to be at the board level. And when you're doing your hiring practices, always looking through that lens. And that conversation can never go away. And making sure that that is even built into your business plan, your business mission. So having those conversations, and it should 100% be a part of this forum right here, if no other forum. So that should always be a conversation at all of our meetings. Are we continuing to look through the lens of diversity, inclusion, and equity, racial equity, when we do our hiring practices? Because if we want to break down certain systems, it needs to be at the board level. I mean, that's where the power is, right? That's where the policies are created, in which everybody refers to, okay, we can't do this or we can do this. We got to look at the policy. So when we create our businesses, let it be a part of our mission. Let that be a part of when we onboard individuals into our company, they understand the culture of our companies that they're entering into, so that they know that we're serious and it's at the forefront. That conversation meets you when you walk in the door. So that's another way of weeding out people who don't share our mission, how we're going to grow our business, with that being the lens of importance. That's a value that we carry every day. So it just can't be a moment. We have to remember that it is a continuous movement every single day. We as people of color know this, because we put on our armor every day that we have to go out and interact with the world. But this also needs to be a part of our business mission and our board conversations. So if we can incorporate that conversation through all of our meetings going forward, I think it would be valuable. And that's how we can serve the mission, our overall mission, to make a difference.
I like that also. So Lisa, this is something I've often wondered, because I know sometimes when we work with like larger institutions, there's, like you said, you have to make that a continuing mission. But I've often wondered, as a minority business myself, how do I sort of implement, 'cause I mean, everybody in my company is minority because it's just a family company, but how do I sort of incorporate that way of looking at it as, like, what's my role as a minority business in that, not just as a part of other institutions, but as a part of my own business to do that?
Okay. All too often we adopt the systems of the past, and we create our companies and our role models based on companies that have previously existed, because we go to the experts and who've always been in power. So a lot of times when you're creating your businesses, the tools in which you're creating your businesses are from those previous systems that could be oppressive, and you're not even being aware of it. Just how you hire, how you set up your hiring practices. And just because we're minorities doesn't mean that we can't take wrong steps as well, because we're looking back at what we perceive as successful businesses from the past. And we could be weeding out individuals through a lens of inequality and not even know about it. When you bring on someone and you say, okay, you got to have all these different criterias, you got to have taken all these classes, you got to come in with all this experience. And a lot of times real life experience equals that. So, and you're eliminating a lot of people who never had access to those opportunities or that educational opportunity, because you're following that guideline of what has worked for another company that wasn't a minority owned company. It's not like you're coming in with all the tools that you needed. So you're going to refer back to somebody, right?
Yep.
Who's always had the power in the past. So make sure that when you do construct your business, you're not using the tools of the past. So that's why you have these conversations, and you have your board members, or you have your partners, or if you're a single entrepreneur, sole proprietorship, write down your mission, and every decision you make must tie into that. So all too often, I find that individuals, they say, okay, we have this business, and that's not our practice. We welcome everyone. Okay. Well, how many minorities do you have on your board? You're representing a community of color, of African Americans, and there's no African American or person of color on your board. So there is a broken system there. You have failed to examine it. So you're a minority owned company. If you only have let's say Latinos on your board, that's your audience, but that doesn't mean that that's going to be your only audience, right? That you're going to serve. So you need to make sure you're welcoming diversity within your board, within the individuals that you have in leadership positions. So you could come in through a lens of bias yourself. So if we don't have these conversations, when you have your board meetings, making sure that, hey, are we tying everything back to our mission? Then, it goes along as if it was just a moment and not a movement. So that's why I think it should be a part of everyday conversation, because we didn't get here overnight with any racial inequality. We got here generation after generation, decades. So it's going to take some work. It's going to take some hard work, intentional work.
And
I like that.
Alex,
I mean,
when
it's funny. Oh, go ahead, Andrea.
No, I was just going to say, when folks see us, like for me, they see I'm a Black woman. They see you're a Latino man. So recognizing that when you're coming into the table, when you're coming into the room, this is who you are, and look at it as you're bringing unique opportunities and unique differences to the table. You're bringing a unique voice, because for so long, minority was such a negative term, but embrace that. I hear both sides when folks say they don't necessarily like the word, but right now it is what it is. And you bring a uniqueness to the table. And I say, always have that lens on as much as possible. It's part of who you are. It's part of who your business is. And so I forgot the rest of my point, so I'll just stop here. Yeah.
So I'm gonna look at the time. It is 12:46, but
I'll be real quick with mine.
Okay, so I want to add two things to finalize this portion of our discussion. For this group convening today, and for those that will come at another meeting, please take note that the chamber itself from an internal perspective, they are now looking through a greater equity lens. I want to tell you that there are some discussions that are happening outside of this particular group, wherein there is an assessment of their own systemic conversations, policies, ideologies, inclusive or not, where they need to go. So I have to give them a hand clap for the beginning of a dialogue that I know will continue throughout 2021, and then those intentions, the pragmatic response that will come from that insight. Number two, when Bumi spoke to specific needs, we will be connecting with a local business who has opted into add value through marketing services, pro bono marketing services, Merkle Corporation, which I can't give you the details, but it was their desire to create community programming that would support the needs of our membership. We will be able to roll that out in 2021, hopefully early. So Bumi, other people like yourself, I want you to know that option, I think of Laverne, in terms of marketing, that will be coming to you in 2021 as member added conversation. So having said that, first, let me thank you for a robust conversation. Thank you, Alice, for facilitating that. I'm going to hand this over to Andrea, realizing the time. I may pardon myself. Please excuse me as I transition to another meeting. But if I can help you in any way, specifically in any way at all, please feel free to email me or to reach out, and I'll make myself available. So thank you so much. A happy Thanksgiving, happy holiday. Andrea, you can take the wheel, darling. I'm done.
Okay, thanks, Kay. And I'll just share this with you all. I won't necessarily read it all, but just to give you an idea of what your Minority Business Alliance has been up to in 2020. And Kay mentioned some of that earlier as she was speaking, but for whatever reason during this pandemic, it almost seems like our work has been amped up, and we've been doing a lot more, some of it behind the scenes, some of it in the forefront. But this has been an active Minority Business Alliance for 2020. And, as you can see with the leadership, which includes Quentin Harrell, Kay Monroe, and Alex, they've been busy. They recently presented to a national organization, their Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Roundtable. Kay mentioned the new Equity Committee on the board. I know Kay and Alex were on that conversation last week. Kay just mentioned Merkle. We had a partnership with Blue Ridge Bank for the 4-part finance series, and our leaders participated in Project Rebound, as did our Minority Business Alliance members. Kay and I were able to be part of a discussion with Senator Mark Warner back over the summer that was hosted by Piedmont Housing Alliance. And Kay and I represent on the Minority Business Commission. And your chair, Quentin Harrell, who may be joining us in a few minutes, he's been on a lot of panels across the area speaking about minority businesses, the economy, its impact on minority businesses, funding support. We've created this partnership with United Way that has thus far totaled $45,000, and that's fantastic, and that's what we were about. That's one of our goals, is to create beneficial partnerships that benefit our members, and we appreciate United Way's partnership for that. Kay mentioned earlier, we were able to give out 4 $1,000 grants. That was in place of us doing a luncheon. So again, it's about us being good stewards with our funds to support our members. That $1,000 donation came from Home Instead Senior Care. They wanted to support minority businesses, and they sewed into this organization. And then we had a $25 donation from a community member who just wanted to help. Lots of media around MBA as it relates to the partnership, the Endurance Fund, what some of our members have been doing to pivot during this pandemic. Pearl Island, VU, Tax Ladies, Culinary Concepts, and Yolanda Harrell recently was quoted in for the Washington Post. And let's see. Oh, there was the Black is Beautiful billboard campaign that MBA was listed part of. That was on East High Street. That was up for the month of August. Lots of our members have been doing things beyond leadership, MBA. Ty Cooper, Lisa, Treat, Zoe, they're 2020 graduates of Leadership Charlottesville. And our members of MBA who are Leadership Charlottesville grads supported the MBA grads who were graduating this year. They gave out the awards because we couldn't meet in person after March, so we couldn't have our in-person graduation. But they went around to present the awards and everything, and that was so nice. Of course, we had our members participating in the Women and Minority Business Expo hosted by the city. Scott Hamler, a new member, he is a co-lead for the new affinity group, Rising Professionals, and is also a board member for LCAA. Many of our MBA members participated in the Project Rebound over in May and June. And then Ty Cooper produced 5 videos for that, for our reopening phase. And Boomy did all of the marketing for it. Yay, Boomy, it was really nice. And then 100 Black women provided thousands of masks early in the pandemic to community members, businesses, and organizations. This is just a small snippet of what our members have been doing beyond being in this group, that meeting every month. We had some recognitions, chamber recognitions. Libby received the 2020 Businesswomen's Roundtable Quadruplicity Award. Libby is with 100 Black Women. Sobert Pierre, this is new information that just happened yesterday. Sobert is the recipient of the Chamber Small Business Award Small Business Award. That's the Christopher Lee Small Business Award. And Antoine Brinson and Quentin Harrell are 2 of 9 recipients of the Chamber's 2020 Pivot Awards. So those are brand new awards. And lastly, as I said, our members continue to serve on boards and commissions and committees and support each other. I know Lisa, you just joined something, you're a leadership role in some capacity, but you all are making an impact in many ways that webs out in our community, representing minority business, representing your business, representing the chamber, and we're proud of you and you deserve to be celebrated. So thank you. And I turn it over to Alex.
Sorry, I was muted for a moment there. So I know we were awaiting our board chair. He had a little something to encourage you all with. So I don't know if he's on his way. I can always say a little word of encouragement in his stead.
Yeah, this is what he would have spoken about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll say again, I mean, the key thing here, and I think sort of Andrea's list emphasized this point, the Minority Business Alliance works because there are members in the Alliance, because there are people who are willing to give your time, and we appreciate your time, your insight, your sharing of what you've learned with one another, and just the ways in which having members who are committed to an organization really helps an organization like ours thrive. This is not a top-down organization. If it were, there would just be Andrea, Kate, Quentin, and I having small chats every once in a while. The fact that there's a committed membership is really important. And so I think we've hopefully given you some of the ideas of what we like to do, the value add that we believe in providing as the Minority Business Alliance. And it's everything from that professional development to the networking, and even this year to the funding, and bringing our membership in touch with the funding that is important for them to grow their businesses and their entrepreneurship and to connect with opportunities. And so I just encourage y'all to continue being part of this, continue to bring your time, which we value, your membership, which we appreciate, to be able to provide these things and these value adds, and to share this with other minority entrepreneurs that you think may be interested, because it's still one of the challenges of this area, that there are many Black and Latino businesses that fall under the radar, that don't show up because no one's actually reached out to them yet. And so we do our part to reach out, we connect with people, but if you know other entrepreneurs who even just, we're not saying, tell them to come be a member instantly today, but if you think they could benefit in any way from coming to some of the sessions, from learning about the opportunities here, from learning about the ways in which to either grow their business or connect to opportunities, definitely please, I would encourage you all to share that with them, because we just hope that if there's been a value add to you, that there can be a value add to others as well. And we continue to appreciate your support and your just being there, which is the key.
Yeah. And this is, as Kay mentioned earlier, that our last meeting of the year. Normally in December, we'd host a huge holiday social, and we've missed out on our socials this year. And we certainly miss connecting with everyone, but our priority is to keep everyone safe. And in time, we'll gather again in person, but we just appreciate your support as we use this platform to continue serving our members. And thank you all. I think that's it, Alex.
Yeah.
Neil,
Okay.
Boomy, Lisa, Laverne, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank
right.
you.
Have a
Enjoyed it.
wonderful
Looking forward to
Thanksgiving.
the next one.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you.
Same to you guys.
Take care.